Hi guys, it's Jay. I'm popping in really quick before this video starts, and I'm looking like an early 2000s lip gloss right now. And I just wanted to pop in really quick because I just edited the video. Like Laura and I literally just ate a couple hours ago, and I'm supposed to be working, but I'm gonna edit this video. And I noticed that the angles were not great. We don't mukbang, we're doing this for fun so we can watch it when we're old and gray. But I watched a few videos right now and I was like, wow, I totally did not do that right. Like our frame isn't even, for a normal frame, even centered, for one thing. I'm sorry, that was my bad. Two, I just didn't even focus it on the food. The food looks like it's like 10 miles away, and I know like professional mukbangers have it like right in the front. They know how to place it, but again, we're not professional mukbangers. We're literally two 20-year-olds just trying to eat. And then we just decided to do a Q&A from our friends because that would have been fun. And we thought we ordered a lot of food, but then when we saw it, or when I saw it on the editing, it looks like we ordered 2 burgers and that was it. And we did order more food than we normally do, but damn, people who do this for a living order a lot. So I just decided to say that before someone comments on it or wants to call me out for it. Even though it's labeled a mukbang, it's definitely a fail of a mukbang. But we hope that you guys found it entertaining. It was really fun to film, and yeah, I just wanted to put that out there really quick. But we hope that you guys enjoy because it was really fun for us to do it. And we have a part 2 coming out, so stay tuned. But yeah, without further ado, enjoy part 1 of our mukbang Q&A fail podcast sounding thing. Not enough food, best friend time. Yeah, okay, bye. Laura came to surprise me. I have it in my little footage on what I thought she was gonna bring. She brought Chick-fil-A, so we have, I don't know what this is actually.
Okay, this is a frosted lemonade, and apparently—
Oh, it's frosted lemonade?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. Both of them are frosted lemonade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna try this.
I know, perfect for today, huh?
I thought it was a milkshake. Oh, it's creamy.
It's kind of like a—
It's like a creamsicle, but lemonade.
Exactly.
If you've never tried, I've never tried this. It's like an orange creamsicle, but like a lemonade version. Or it's like, what's that called? Root beer floats, but lemonade.
I know that, like, I think Chick-fil-A is pretty popular for this, but I never get it.
I've never tried it.
Okay, well, that's really good.
I didn't know how I feel about first sip, and then I just kept sipping it, and I was like, it's kind of good. And then she got 2 of the deluxe sandwiches, which is what I normally get. I feel like everyone gets spicy chicken though. I feel like that's like the cult fave, is the spicy chicken. And then we have a crap ton of fries, and then nuggets, yeah. And then Chick-fil-A sauce, which I actually normally don't get, so I'm excited to. I've tried it before, but I tried it such a long time ago that I actually don't know what it tastes like.
So you just eat it with like ketchup or just with nothing usually?
Ranch or plain. Plus Chick-fil-A's food's so good, like I can just eat it plain because I'm a plain person. Dude,
no. What I was gonna say earlier was I was gonna get Raisin Cane's, but then head over to Chick-fil-A and just grab a bunch of their sauces, but then I was like, might as well just get Chick-fil-A, like whatever. Because I love the sauce.
Damn, we were on the same wave. I was like, I want fried chicken.
Yeah. And I was even gonna get, like, there's a 30 piece of this, and I was gonna get that, but then I think it's more fun to have variety. I was even like, should I get sushi? But then—
Oh, that's okay. That's like I feel like it's hard.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you're mixing foods. And I don't see YouTubers do that. So.
And I don't know how that would taste. Like if I did it, I would do like Raisin Cane's and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Like foods that make sense.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like our tummies would be like a little upset at that.
Yeah. If I ate sushi and then I ate Raisin Cane's at the same time, I wouldn't hate it. Like I still think I would enjoy my life, but I think that my tongue would be like, excuse me.
We have questions.
We have like, okay. So
I totally forgot to send it to my friends.
My friend just texted. So Nicole just texted in. Let's see. She said, OMG, I'm at Chick-fil-A right now. And Crystal was like, dude, I had Chick-fil-A yesterday. So Chick-fil-A has been a good choice for everyone. Yeah, Mahina and Trent earlier, they had Chick-fil-A, or Trent had Chick-fil-A catered at his work. So he had like the big bundles of nuggets and stuff. let's see. I only had like 5 questions, so I don't know what my fans are doing, but I'm pretty disappointed.
This makes me wanna watch very popular mukbangers, but watch their first videos, because obviously I think it just like takes getting used to. It sounds really easy to be able to like
Eat and talk.
Yeah, eat and talk, but
it's not, because no one knows us. Yeah. No one wants to know anything about us, because like I was watching a few videos for, you know, research, and they just they talk about random stuff, but it's okay because you already know stuff about them. So it is like you're talking to someone else. Or some of them literally just talk about the food, like the menu.
That's what I was thinking.
Like a menu review.
But then I was like, dang, like I feel like I would feel silly trying to critique the food, like, oh, it tastes like whatever.
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at too. I was like, what do they talk about? But a lot of them, like, they have Q&As, or like, what's his name? Drake and Josh? Josh? So he does a lot of mukbangs now too, and I mean, he has a lot of guest stars, so like people want to like care about them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, random people, I don't know.
That's the thing. That's why I feel like a lot of mukbangs now are like very different foods, because that's like the main focus, like the food.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But I still watch that. Like some people I don't even know, I'll see it and I'll watch it and they're not talking about anything, but I'll just have it playing and I'm like, what did I just watch? Or Steph Papas. Have you seen her? She has like, I think 800,000 or 900,000 subscribers, and she just goes through drive-thrus literally and just like orders stuff, eats in her car, and says like nothing against her either. She's just like, ooh, yum, like blah, blah, blah. And I've watched a few of her videos, so obviously there's something intriguing just like listening to her eat. But yeah, she doesn't really talk about much. I mean, she kind of talks about her life sometimes, but most of the video is just her ordering through the drive-thru. But you know, people still follow her and watch her.
And just eating it in the car.
Yeah, or she has a hot plate at home and she just puts a bunch of like noodles or something, and she doesn't eat all of it. She even says that she's like, oh, I'm gonna give this to my family after, so. But yeah, she just sits there and eats it.
You know who's
people love it.
Super funny? Do you know Trisha Paytas? Do you watch? Okay, so I guess mostly she does like mukbangs, but she's so like degaff about it. She doesn't even edit her videos. Like she'll just like post like an hour-long video, and I'm like, wow, but she gets so many views. So definitely for her, it's like the personality. So how do you feel about the sauce?
It's good. It's kind of like, it's sweet.
It's like honey mustard, but more creamy, I think.
It is like honey mustard. Maybe that's why people like it, because you know, people put like honey on biscuits and like chicken at like KFC. Maybe that's it. Okay, let's see. Christine says, Laura's skirt is so cute. Where can I swipe up to cop? Links down below, Christine. It's Brandy Melville.
I know.
You basic hoe.
Very basic.
Hold on, give me 1 sec.
Did I tell you that, okay, so one of my bucket list things, because me and my college roommate were super into mukbangs.
I remember.
So that was our bucket list, to do a mukbang.
The one you texted.
Wait, did I?
Where she was like, you're doing a mukbang without me.
Oh yeah, that's the one. So that just like shows how much we're into it. So then we did a mukbang, but what we did was, because we didn't really have a camera or like a YouTube channel to post anything on, so we did a live Insta on her Instagram.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I mean, basically it was just like 12, like it was like her family that was in, and like they were just in and out, but.
I would watch that, that's so funny. I'd be like, what are you guys eating? I mean, it's like FaceTiming each other pretty much.
That's what I said. There was one point where there was only one viewer and she was like asking questions. Okay, honestly.
Oh, really?
It's pretty cool to do Instagram Live, just because people can like send in like their feedback or just like comments or whatever.
It's like FaceTiming with a bunch, or I guess a bunch of people FaceTiming with you.
Exactly. And then I was like, at one point I was just like, okay, might as well just get off this and FaceTime like your cousin, because she's the only one watching.
Okay, first question. What was the last thing that made you sick? And these are all anonymous. If you guys have never used Ask FM, it's anonymous. I didn't use Instagram because no one cares.
Yeah.
So I kept it on a different site.
Wow, that's like, I guess like what kind of sick, right?
I guess that's up to you.
I feel like I'm like in an interview now. Like I have to think of answers on the spot.
First, I don't go out anymore because I'm not in college, but I feel like the last thing that probably made me sick was alcohol. If not like, no. I have a hard time taking medication and prescribed medication. And I went to the doctors and they gave me medication and it was a little pill. And ever since college, I've had a hard time taking pills. So every time I take a pill, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. So I took it, it cured me, but I immediately felt like I was gonna throw up when I took the pill. So that's probably the last thing that made me sick. And then if not, probably the last time I went out and drank alcohol.
That's weird. Like with the pill, is it just because you can't, like it's like physically?
I've never had an issue, like, and it was tiny. So I think it's just like a weird placebo mental thing now. Like I can take pills. I've never had an issue until like sometime in college where I just, like my body, like once it's like, oh, you're taking a pill, it knows. And it's like, all right, it's time to throw up. Yeah, so.
That's crazy.
It sucks because I know that at some point I'm gonna be an old lady and I'm gonna have to take like 7 days worth of pill, you know, those little.
Wait, when the heck was this? Like
my second year of college.
And ever since then, it's like been the same way. That's so crazy.
I can't take pills or like medication. I mean, I have to, if I do, like I have to do it, but I won't choose to take vitamins or random supplements anymore.
I think the last time I was like sick was when I went to on a boat recently, and I took like an anti-nausea pill, but I don't know how those work, but I could definitely still feel, it felt like I was motion sick, but it was more dull, and I wasn't gonna throw up, but I definitely felt like a little seasick, and I just like had to take a nap. But
on the boat?
Yeah, on the boat. And I remember there was a point when I was like up on the deck of it, and I just like needed fresh air, and the owner of the boat was like, oh, are you doing okay? And I was like, Wait,
what was it for? Why were you on a boat?
Oh no, that was in Seattle.
Oh,
yeah, it was, it's because it was my roommate's like uncle, and I didn't want to like,
yeah, party pooper.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you normally get motion sick?
Not as bad as, I feel like I'm definitely like not on the worst end of the spectrum for that, but as I've gotten older, like I think it affects me more. Like I don't think I could, I definitely could not do Six Flags. I could never do Six Flags.
Me
like,
neither.
I'm too afraid.
I'll stay on the ground with you. I think the most I can do is all the rides at California and Disney. California Adventure and Disney, and that's it. Like I can't.
Even screaming? Can you do that right?
The first, Sophie's gonna watch this, I know it. I'm gonna make her watch it. The first time I ever went on California Screaming, I just turned 20, which, you know, most kids get on there when they're like 5 and they're tall enough. And I went with Andrew and Sophie to Disneyland. Remember he took us? And then they were like, oh, we're gonna go on California Screaming. And I was like, I'll go in line and then I'll leave at the end. And they were like, what? Like, why? And I was like, I don't do like roller coasters and rides. Like I'll do everything else there, but I was like, I don't really like roller coasters. At least with like Space Mountain, it's all black. Yeah. So I don't care.
And then there's no big like drops in that
you literally go up and then you circle down, and you can feel it too if you've never been on it. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I was like, we'll just gossip all the way till I get in the front. I'll get off, I'll wait the 10 minutes, and then we'll just meet up. And Andrew was like, okay, just get in line and then we'll convince you to go on. And I ended up going on and it was fine. I was like, what was I so scared about? And it's funny because the whole time Sophie goes, Andrew has a video of this too. I'll insert it if I can find it. At the very end, Sophie goes, my lashes! So in the photo, you see her going like this because her eyelashes are like fluttering. So at least you know her eyelash glue is very strong.
It's bomb.
Yeah, so that was the first time I ever went on California Screaming. I was very old already. And then after that, I went to Disney, Paris, and Hong Kong. And I was very proud that I was able to ride all the rides because I used to not ride rides like at all, like nothing.
But at Disneyland, you would go on the little like animatronic ones,
like baby ones, but not like real rides. Like it took me a while to start going on like Space Mountain, even like Indiana Jones I didn't go on until I was, I think like a freshman. I was already a teenager, which is still young, but you know, with rides, most kids like love rides. I was like, no.
I don't know what it, I mean, I think my family's kind of like that. My brother's even worse than me about it.
He doesn't like rides.
Yeah, so I don't know. It kind of sucks. I really wish I could enjoy it, but I think the biggest thing for me is like, I hate the feeling when your stomach drops. Yeah.
That's what people like though.
Exactly. So I think it's just like the way you associate different feelings that makes you like it. But
my sister loves that. She's like not scared of rides at all.
I'm
like the opposite. My brother's right in the middle. He's like pretty good.
I remember the first time I went on California Screaming was with Sophie, and I just remember that ride. It's like you gradually go up, and then at the very like
it goes, and then you go.
I remember
it's not even that scary, but like
no, I was like no. The way they build it up is like even scarier than like the ride. I feel
they
like
go 3, 2, 1. They're like screaming it, and then like it shoots you up, and that it is okay. But then you're right next to the water, so it really just feels like you're on nothing. Yeah, and then at the top they just kind of drop you. It's really not that scary now that I think about it, but just like leading your way up to it, if you don't like rides, it's kind of scary because you hear it on the side too. Like you can hear them doing the countdown every single time it goes around. Yeah, and then you hear it just shoot, and obviously everyone's screaming, and I'm here like silent.
I remember
because I'm so scared.
At like right when it did that and it like accelerates you, I turned to Sophie and I'm like, I don't want to be on this. I wanted to be off of it in a second. But yeah, I feel like that's definitely one of the scariest rides I've been on, which is sad, but
I would never go to Six Flags. Like, I'm glad our grad night wasn't Six Flags. Okay. What would you want your last meal to be? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
That's a really good question.
I think I'd say brunch or dinner. I think lunch is kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Like, lunch is just like dinner, but smaller.
I would say, I think probably breakfast, just because I have like a really big sweet tooth. Yeah, exactly. So breakfast, but then there's also like sausage and toast if you want some savory things.
I think it would just depend on what I'm craving that day. I just realized I chose every option because I said brunch and then dinner. But brunch is different than lunch, so whatever. Brunch is more breakfast with like a fancy name so they can market it to people like us who want to be trendy.
Wait, what would you want your last meal to be though? Have you thought about it ever?
No.
Yeah, me either.
But on Tumblr back in the day, I used to always see like this prisoner's last meal and they would show like a photo of it. I don't know, probably something with rice and fries. And then everything else in between I would fill in later.
Ooh.
I think I'd have to have those 2 carbs just because like,
I would definitely
that's like integral to my identity.
Yeah, as many fries as possible. If you're gonna die, like might as well eat.
These are probably one of my favorite fries. Like top 3, just in general, like fast food and like home style, I don't know. Okay. What celebrity would you most like to bump into randomly, and what would you ask them? What was the question?
Wait, celebrity?
What celebrity? I feel like this is more of your question because I'm not like a big celebrity person.
Who do I? Well, there's like a...
Like not YouTube, like a mainstream artist.
Who do I follow the most? You know who I really, like...
Who intrigues you?
I think I really like... Okay, let me just think about this for a sec. Do you have an idea?
I don't really have celebrity people. I'm like a little key more excited to meet YouTubers right now in my life. Just because I've been watching them for longer. Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like want to be a celebrity you'd want to switch places with?
For like a day?
I would probably pick Kylie Jenner.
I was gonna say a Kardashian, not because like I idolize them really in any way. That's funny, I was gonna say Kardashians. Their life is just so interesting. I wanna know for like one day what it's like to be under that microscope and to be that rich. And if their body's real. Like, you know, I'd be like waking up feeling like, I'd be like, is this real?
An implant.
Yeah, because my body's like completely different to like a Kardashian hourglass, I wanna know. Or like what it's like. Yeah, I feel like the day-to-day, like what it's like to be working, having Chris as your mom. Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of people's answers though, but they're really interesting.
I wonder what it's like to film a reality TV show.
I would hate that. Because it's like scripted.
I know.
Right?
I feel like in some ways I'm like, are they actually like pretty good actresses or something? But then I doubt it.
Like The Hills. Did you watch The Hills?
Mm-mm. Did you?
When I was younger, I probably shouldn't have though. But now they have a reboot. But all of that was like fake. But when I was younger, I was like, oh, this is probably only like half fake. It's like all fake.
I didn't know that Lauren Conrad is from OC.
Yeah, they started at Laguna, the show was Laguna Beach first.
That is so cool.
And then they made us, I don't know if it's called, like it's technically a spin-off or like just another series. And then they did The Hills. Because I think the first show was Laguna Beach. Yeah. She's from here. Not anymore though. You could ask your soulmate anything, you would ask. Trent, what's for dinner tomorrow? I'm in a relationship, so it's also different. So I'm like, am I asking Trent or am I just asking like a theoretical person who could be Trent or could not be if he was my soulmate? I would hope I could just ask him whatever.
Would you go to a fortune teller right now?
No.
So you don't want to know?
Okay, well me and Haley used to really want to go. We were like, that was our thing. We were like, we're gonna go to like a psychic just for fun, not even to like take it seriously. We didn't really care. Just like a wild 16-year-old thing. We never did. And now that I'm older, and my parents are really against it. I'm Catholic, and
they don't believe in it, or is it?
It's like kind of against. I don't know if it's against our religion, but it's kind of like sacrilegious. And I honestly don't want to know. I don't know. I feel like that might just get into my head. I wouldn't be 100% opposed, but I think right now I wouldn't go to a psychic tomorrow. I
definitely wouldn't want to know all the details.
I'm gonna go psycho.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't even know what I would want to know.
Like nothing. I just want to know if like I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah, that's why.
Like all my decisions. Am I gonna be happy at the end of all my decisions?
I wonder if it's like, see, with the soulmate question, I feel like it requires like a deep question, but
it's really broad, but I don't really know how to answer that.
Yeah, I'd probably just be like, oh,
do you actually like me, or is it because I'm a sugar mama?
I think what I do want to know about like my soulmate is like what,
Yeah, instead of a question, you're asking them, what do you want, like, what would be one thing if you could ask someone like about your soulmate?
I think I'm interested to see if they'll be religious, because I just wonder, like,
do you have a preference?
I think preference would be like probably Buddhist.
She's Buddhist.
Yeah. Buddhist, or maybe not atheist, but agnostic.
So they believe in like a god or like a higher being, but they just don't affiliate with a religion. Or like a specific one, like Catholic, Buddhist, Mormon. Yeah.
Because I'm like, imagine if they're like Jewish, and I think
it's hard to like,
because I think you would like have to convert or something.
I mean, I guess it's like in any religion, if your other person is very practicing. Or like very ingrained. I mean, some people aren't as practicing, they just are affiliated with like Christianity or like whatever other religion. But yeah, I could see that.
That's why I guess I'm mostly curious if like in the future I'll ever convert to something.
To something else. Okay, let's see. The last question. I'm gonna go check up. I think my sister actually might have sent a question. I don't know. This is just what I screenshotted. The last one is, out of all the places you've traveled to, what's one place that you would urge others to go? I'm gonna take a guess, and I think Anna sent that in.
Aww.
But I don't know. You let me know.
That's definitely more in your field.
You went, I mean, well, I didn't really have it on my channel, but I did go traveling a lot post-grad. But Laura went to South Korea over spring break with Sophie, and then she just got back from Europe. And have you been to Vietnam?
No, I've never been to Vietnam.
So from the places you've been to, what's one of the places you would want to go back to? So I guess it'd be Europe or South Korea?
I think I would definitely want to go back to Paris. Like, I was there for a couple of days, but I could definitely spend like a week. Yeah, I could spend forever in Paris. I would want to live in Paris, definitely.
It
lived up to the hype.
I'm gonna like semi-agree with that. I went to a lot of places, but so this isn't like my number one because I don't really have one, but off the top of my head, I definitely agree. And I think a lot of people agree with that. Like my mom's been, my sister's been, I've been, a lot of people, that's their first place they're gonna travel to if you get to travel. And I agree because Paris is exactly what it looks like in the movies. Like it's an eyegasm the moment you like step down. And I know there's like more like rough looking areas of Paris. Like I was actually on the outskirts and it didn't look like,
oh my God,
for like a day, but the internal doesn't look the same as like, you know, the outskirts, but.
Yes. For a night, I was on the outskirts too, and I thought I was in the Ukraine or something.
Oh really? It looked like LA,
okay,
but like.
Where I was, it was also at night, so I was like a little bit, and there was like no one, or it was kind of like, it just seemed more shady. So I was like, oh my God, like I need to get back into Paris.
It's really pretty though. I think if you are gonna choose a place to go to in Europe, it's very generic, but I think it's definitely worth going to. And I would go back, like I definitely plan to go back. I was there for 5 days, which is not that long, but I would definitely go back. And there's like a lot to see, but then you also see the popular stuff over and over again. Like I walked most of Paris and I like accidentally ran into the Eiffel Tower, I would say like 5 times. Like I didn't even know I was walking towards it. I just like got off somewhere and I was like, oh shoot, like the Eiffel Tower is literally right there.
I think if I were to, what was I gonna say? Oh right, okay, so like when I went to Paris, it just sucked because like a lot of it I was on a tour bus for, just because I was there for like a short amount of time. So I didn't have as much time to just walk around, but I think I could just, like if I were there, I wouldn't even have things to do. I would just want to walk around and like roam around.
That's what I did for some of it. My mom paid for a tour for us to go on one day. But for the most part, I just walked around. I got like macarons and just sat in this park that had a view of the Eiffel Tower, and I just sat there and just ate. And that I was very content just walking around. And Trent and I, he was there when I went to Paris. We literally just walked around at nighttime. We were looking for food, but we just ended up touring around. And then when I was waiting him to meet me in Paris, I just went on my own and just like walked through the alleys. Don't walk through dark alleys, but it's like a nice place to be. It really feels like you hear the music. I was in Montmartre. I don't even know how to say it. I'll insert it.
Is that like a neighborhood?
I'll show you here. I'll show you. There's artists everywhere. There's music, like Parisian kind of music playing.
Yeah. That's what's super cool about it.
And I think that's a lot of places in Europe. Is it's just so romantic.
It's a different lifestyle than America. Like I truly understand what people mean. Like I think
this is where I was walking around. And I would recommend, I was broke and I spent one day in like the heart of like the city where all like the artists were and like restaurants, and I got like the little balcony and it was like the best splurge I think of that trip was to experience like hearing Paris from my bed in the balcony on the flat that I had rented for that night with Trent. So with like, you know, your love. It was just like a really, I don't know, it was like a very special experience. Even if I was alone, I've always wanted to do Paris and like the whole 9 yards. So that's all I could afford out of the 9 yards. It was like one night.
I mean, still, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I woke up and I opened the doors and like you could hear like the streets and like the birds, and it just was like really,
it sounds
really
like
cool.
A Disney movie.
It was. We don't have any more questions because everyone sucks. But if you were to go back to Europe, what would be the one country that you would want to go to? Like if you could only go to one, I guess.
One country. Wait, how did you feel about Italy? You really loved it?
Hold on.
Okay.
I was there for a week. and a week was like not enough. Like you could spend a week in Rome and that wouldn't be enough. Because I went to Rome, Cinque Terre, Tuscany, and Florence in like a week, which is nothing. Like I could spend months there trying to get through everything. Like I didn't even go to Venice, Milan, like the whole northern section. Italy's definitely a place to go and spend a lot of time in. There's like not enough time because there's a lot of big cities.
I think it was
California.
Was it super hot? Because you went more in the fall, right? Yo, it was hot.
Rome was hot.
It was so, okay, honestly, it was like,
me and Mika were like,
it was so hot to the point where it was like almost like not enjoyable.
No, that's why I didn't go right when I graduated.
I think that's
UC schools graduate in June, and you know, most people are like, I'm gonna go travel this summer, you graduate. I waited until September, so I did my trip September, October, and it was way better. Like, ticket prices are cheaper to fly and to like book stuff, and it's less hot. And my sister did the same thing, so I like learned from her. Even if you pushed it a little bit, it would be nicer because it was just so hot. There are some places that were cooler, like Central Europe. It was like raining in some areas. So I literally experienced just like a bunch of weather, but it was pretty warm. Like I know a lot of people who go when Natalie went, it was summer and she was like, it is balls hot.
Yeah.
And my parents went during summer the first time they went to Europe and it was just too hot. Like I wouldn't recommend, it's expensive and all of that. I guess if you're taking your kids, that's the only time you can go. But if you can like not go in summer, don't go in summer. I think any other time of the year is better.
Did you go to the Palace of Versailles?
Yeah, I spent a half a day there.
Okay, was that like really worth it? Did it live up?
I think you have to go or else you feel like you missed out.
I know,
but it wasn't the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Also, I went to Spain and I already saw a bunch of palaces. Not to say it was ugly, like it was really nice, but I think it wasn't the most beautiful thing I saw on my trip. And they were planting more plants. I think they were like fixing the landscaping, like making the garden nicer. So it wasn't like in its prime. So there's that. I mean, I think if you go back, you definitely should go though.
I think that's the one thing
just walk around.
I regret not being able to see. Also,
wait, why didn't you go?
Just because, yeah. And it's kind of like a trip out from Paris. So I just like didn't figure out how to coordinate it. Like I just.
It's a train that takes you there.
Also, where's the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Tuscany. It's in Pisa.
Oh, okay.
It's in Pisa. Like,
no wonder why. My mom and I just had no idea where it was.
Italy. And if you guys are planning to go to Italy, it's at Pisa, there's literally nothing. So if you're gonna do Pisa, you might as well do Tuscany because where the Leaning Tower of Pisa is, there's 2 other buildings and that's it. It's literally just like the Leaning Tower. It's like the only thing really to see. Yeah.
I feel like the way my trip progressed was like pretty good just because we started in London. And I remember when I was in London. Yes.
I loved London.
I freaking love London. It was like even better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites. Like London is underrated. No one talks. It's one of the most popular places, but no one really raves about it. But I freaking loved it. But I also am like a city girl, so I loved how it was like.
It was like modern, but still
city.
historical.
Yeah,
exactly.
I really loved it.
It's awesome. But in terms, London is really beautiful, but then after that I went to Paris, which is like even more beautiful, and I was like, oh my god.
Your eyes are just like, whoa.
Yeah, so then I went to Paris, and then I went to freaking Italy, and I felt like the beautiful.
Did I not see that you went to Italy? Where did you go?
I went to, so London, Paris, and then Venice, and then just Rome.
Venice, okay. I feel like I didn't really see photos after Paris. So I thought you just did London and Paris. How did you like Venice? I specifically didn't put it the first time around because I didn't really hear too many good things. Besides this one lady really loved it, but other than that, I didn't hear as many good things about Venice.
I would say it's definitely a place that you can just spend a day in. Like if Rome was closer, I totally would have just like, even just a day trip there would be enough, but it's just kind of like way far from everywhere else. But it's really beautiful. But it's more of a like town, like cute little town.
And I heard the gondola rides were hella expensive.
Oh yeah.
I heard they're like 100 euros.
Honestly, I did not think the Italian people were that friendly. Okay, maybe like don't put that in because I don't.
Take it out. No, I'm gonna edit this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fake mukbang because I'm not gonna. Yeah.
No, but honestly, I just like did not think they were super friendly at all, and I like that is such a turn off. So
yeah,
my mom was like trying to ask like, oh, how much are the gondola rides?
Yeah.
To the people operating it, and the guy was just kind of like he wasn't.
I've heard they're rude over there though.
He didn't say anything mean, but he just like was not friendly, and I was like, you know what, screw this. Like I don't really care about the gondola ride that much. Like.
No, but I think when I was in Rome, when I was walking around by myself, I found this park on a hill where the keyhole is. There's this keyhole where I literally waited 30 minutes to look through this keyhole, but there's a park next to it. And like everyone there in like Rome, this is just specific to Rome because there's a different vibe in every city. Everyone is so romantic, like more than Paris. Like the vibe in Rome was like everyone just wants to like be out. It's PDA, but not American PDA. But also because I think I'm just like in this, like, I'm just jaded by like, oh, I'm in Spain, but they're a lot more like, everyone is like this, just like a lot more like, oh, let's just spend time together. Yeah. Some of them are just friends, like a bunch of homies just like hanging out at the park, but in a very wholesome way. And the couples were like hugging each other, but not that I was like disgusted either.
Yeah.
It was very like sweet, which I didn't even see in Paris.
I think Europe, or actually maybe this was more in Italy and Venice, which I guess Venice is just definitely more of a quaint like city, if you could call it a city. But I just got the sense that European people are just like a lot more relaxed and chill, and like, because I remember we were trying to go to a supermarket and it was like closed randomly during the day because they were like, oh, it closes at like noon, opens at like 3 or something like that, or even 5. I'm like, what are these people doing? Like, how do they make money?
7.
Yeah.
Crystal and I were looking for food in Spain and we didn't know that. And we were like, why is everything closed? There was like one restaurant open. And everything was like, oh, closed from, like 3 to 7, just depending on the place. Basically closed all of like after lunch. So lunch ends at like 1. And they're closed until dinner, and that's like most places. And we were starving. I was like, oh, what? It was 5 o'clock, we were starving. We weren't gonna wait till 7, so we went to the grocery store. But it's funny that you mentioned that because I totally forgot that that was a thing. But yeah, they're a lot more relaxed. In America, it's like, you never have a break.
Ooh, where do you want to go next? For an international trip. Or even in the US, I guess.
Let's see, in the US, I think I hit all of the big cities. I want to do an East Coast tour. I haven't really seen that much of the East Coast. I've seen the entire West Coast pretty much at this point. So I think, I don't know if that's going to be my next trip, but that's definitely a trip I want to do, is road trip on like the eastern side. Maybe not the whole thing, just like the upper east side of the East Coast. And then international, I mean, whoever I marry, I already said I want to do Maldives or like French Polynesia for my honeymoon.
Aww.
And my girls know my bachelorette party is going to be in Greece. So I have that on the record now, like it's going to be Greece. If you're not there, I'm sorry.
So get off of work.
Yeah, so you better start saving right now. So those are like for sure, but I think my next trip, I actually don't know. I have some trips planned already, so
really?
Yeah, for sometime in 2019 or 2020, you guys will see. But I haven't seen that much of Asia. I really want to go to South Africa.
I feel like you went to a lot of Asia though recently. I mean, you went to Philippines and then Hong Kong, I think.
Hong Kong and Macau, so China, or Chinese territories. But I haven't been to mainland China. I haven't really been to that much of Asia for being Asian. So I want to do that. But I think South Africa is definitely a big one that I want to go to. South America, my sister just went to Peru, which is cool, but I don't think that's next on my list. And I definitely don't want to go alone. Like I could do Europe alone. Maybe not Eastern Europe, but just like the rest of Europe. But I don't think I would do like anywhere else alone, like South America, Central America, or Asia. Like I don't think, besides Bali, I heard Bali is a pretty good place, or a safer place in Singapore to go if you're traveling alone and you're a woman. But you know, there's like certain places you don't want to go alone.
I want to go to Singapore ever since I watched Crazy Rich Asians. But I hear it's like kind of boring there.
There's not that much. My parents did Singapore and Malaysia in a week, so they only did like 2 or 3 days at each place because they said there isn't that much, but it's clean.
I appreciate that.
Where do you want to go next?
I think probably explore more of Asia. I mean, I went to Europe, but there's just so much more.
There's a lot, yeah.
Oh, I really want to actually see like Amsterdam and the Netherlands.
It's pretty.
And Germany.
A lot of bikes.
Is there stuff to do there? It is really pretty, but like, were you...
Amsterdam, I was there for 2 days. So I spent 1 day in Amsterdam and 1 day in Utrecht, which is like outside. It's like an hour out with a train. And it's super, super pretty, but I wouldn't spend, if you're on vacation, I wouldn't spend a week there. But it's definitely worth going maybe like 2 or 3 days max.
Really?
It's a nice walk though. Like everyone's on their bikes, which I can appreciate there. Like the neighborhood I was in was a newer neighborhood and they based it off of bikes. So you're allowed to have cars, but there are certain pathways you're not allowed to drive a car. And it's dominantly bike based. Like everyone is on a bike. Like I was scared to get ran over by a bike.
That's awesome.
It was really cool, yeah. Germany, I wasn't a big fan of Berlin.
Oh, you weren't?
I wasn't. I was gonna go to Oktoberfest, but I was alone. I didn't want to be drunk and alone in Oktoberfest. So maybe next time around, that's definitely on my list if I'm going in fall time. But yeah, Netherlands is really pretty though. Germany, I'm gonna give another shot. Just I won't be going back to Berlin on my next trip.
Wait, what happened during that trip again? I remember you talked about it, but...
I was supposed to go to Munich, which is where Oktoberfest was, because I didn't plan it, but I happened to land right in Munich for that, and I had it in my trip, and then I just took it out because I didn't want to be alone, and I was like really panicked. I was like, well, I'm already here, like I should just go, and my sister was like, dude, it's okay, just like don't go, just spend another day somewhere else. So I added it to Italy, which was, I have no regrets. Like I added another day to Italy, so I was in Italy for like 7 or 8 days, and I was like, I'll just go back to Oktoberfest when I have a group of friends and like it's worth the money and it's like planned, because I just kept, I kept trying to push it because I was like, I'm already here, this like the stars are aligned. And my sister was like very comforting for like my whole trip, where she was like giving me a lot of advice because she's already done the trip, and I took a very similar trip to hers. Like 80% of our trip was like the same, just in different orders and stuff. But yeah, she was like, she's like, if you can do it, you can do it. If not, just think you're gonna go back. And that really comforted me. I was like, okay, like I'll be back and I'll do this next time. But I only got to go to Berlin just because I wanted to see other things.
Was Berlin beautiful, or were you kind of like underwhelmed?
Okay, it was hot. Trent and I were grumpy.
It's okay. That was me in Rome. See, I'm sure Rome is beautiful, but I just like,
I was so grumpy.
There
it
was
was
like
so
circumstances that made it not so.
And there was so much construction in Berlin that I couldn't even get like a good look of some of the stuff. Historically, I think Berlin is like one of the best places to go, especially if you like World War II stuff. And I don't really like history, but World War II stuff is very interesting to me. So it was really cool to see some of that, and they have a lot of museums. The weather was just so hot that I was mad, so that was like on me. I want to go back to give it a second shot, but probably when I'm older.
Not ASAP,
Yeah, that's like later after I've already seen other places. Yep.
Well, what I've heard is that Europe is probably one of the easiest places to travel by yourself.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
My friend that went to Southeast Asia said that like she definitely had, because she traveled Europe solo, and she's definitely like the type to do trips solo, but she said that of course like Southeast Asia she would recommend bringing a friend.
It's not as safe.
Yeah, it's like not as safe, and I think like the activities there are just like more geared towards like groups or something.
I agree. Like I want to do like water stuff when I'm in Asia, but not alone. Or like even ziplining, or like going in the ocean. Like I want to be with someone. Or like the motorcycle thing. 4-wheeling. Yeah. I want to do that in Greece, but not alone.
I'm gonna take this. See, I'm obsessed with this sauce.
Everyone is. Everyone likes their Polynesian sauce too, though.
Have you tried that? I've never tried it.
I've tried all of them once. It's like barbecue sauce.
Oh.
But like a different consistency.
Do you like Raisin Cane sauce?
I think it's okay, yeah. It's like similar. Like all of these sauces are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But the consistency is different on this. It has more of like that honey transparency. I don't even know what's in this, but yeah, soybean oil.
It says there's eggs in it, which kind of freaks me out.
Sugar, water, yellow mustard. I'm sure they heat this though to a point where it's safe. If it's not, you haven't died, so.
Well, I'm like, yeah.
I know the bottom says contains eggs in like bold
like
print.
how? It's not boiled or there's like no chunks of anything.
I guess it's like hollandaise sauce where it's like beat until it's a yellow sauce like this is. I'm gonna go check if someone sent. I'm gonna go check on my desktop to see if anyone sent me a question.
I'm sorry, this is a lot.